What would life be like if you went to a school made for billionaires? Today we're gonna react to a story about this kid who says it really happened to her. That was cool.
As I entered the classroom, all the students were looking at me. They were scanning me from head to toe. Everyone was curious to know who my dad was, so
I guess if you're at a billionaire school, everyone's gonna be curious who your dad is.
I would be, so.
Measure my social value.
Oh, wow.
They looked at my shoes, clothes, and bag. I knew they criticized every single detail in my physical appearance.
You know what's crazy? I never realized that people did this because I, growing up, didn't even know like what Gucci was because like I freaking had Walmart brand and that's all I thought that was. So I never knew this was a thing people did.
I looked around and saw only famous brands. They all looked well-dressed and rich. It felt as if I was attending a fashion week in Milan.
Yeah, don't y'all have any dress code? What the heck?
I knew right away that my $10 bag wouldn't fit in such a place. I knew I was going to be asked a lot of questions and treated differently. Hi, my name is Karen, and I am the new student.
Karen?
I am looking forward to knowing you all, I said with a shivering tone, when a voice replied scoffingly out of nowhere. Yeah, if you survive till the next week.
Yeah, this is weird. Because first off, she looks like a full-grown lady who's like in her mid-30s, 40s. Second off, this is a rude school.
The male's voice, but I wasn't sure of the speaker's identity.
Oof.
I was too nervous and just pretended not to hear his comment.
Smart.
I went to my seat while hoping that this day would end.
Actually,
without any
maybe that's not smart. Maybe she should have fought back and showed not to mess with her.
I know changing schools is terrifying. Almost all students worry about their first day because they want to fit in and they are afraid of being isolated. My case was totally different. I was not only afraid to be left alone or isolated, I was afraid of exposing my real identity.
Oh, you're actually not rich, I'm guessing, because you don't have a $1 billion bag?
I was taking some books out of my locker. A group of girls approached me and said, "What a nice bag," with a smirky smile.
Oh no, look at them.
I knew right away that their intentions were to insult me. Yet I replied, "Thanks," confidently. and
Nice,
walked away.
okay, a little bit of confidence in her. No bullying yet, but it seems like general and normal school, to be honest.
Honestly, though I tried to act normal, I was horrified. I was sure if they discovered my real identity, they would make me suffer like hell. Therefore, I decided to be careful and avoid everyone as much as possible.
This seems like a pretty good strategy. I mean, I did this when I was in certain groups of people. I'd be like, yeah, I'm avoiding everyone. I ain't gonna deal with this.
I am not only poor, I don't even have a house. I live with my mother in a small room dedicated to servants.
Whoa.
And yes, my mom is a maid and the family she works for was kind enough to let me stay with my mother at their house. It was better than renting an apartment. My father left us when I was a baby, and my mother took full responsibility.
They're like trying to become Disney with these terrible backstories to everyone.
To prevent herself from eating just to buy me whatever I wanted. But when my mother applied to work for the family we live with, our life changed and things got better. When I turned 15, they offered me a job helping my mother with some chores. In return, they paid me good money so that I could afford my expenses, since I was going to be in high school. I was super excited and grateful for their generosity.
To me, this feels like a legit real story. Like it actually has to do with the title. The story feels real. This might be like some people submit fan-written stories. Maybe I think this is a real one. Maybe.
Fact was when Mr. Let's call him X offered me something unexpected after saving his life.
Okay.
Once when Mr. X was having lunch at his office and I was cleaning it, he choked and I rushed to help him and saved his life.
Dang.
If it wasn't for me, he would be seriously harmed or even
Did he
dead.
pay you?
After that incident, he offered to transfer me to a private school that only elites could afford. He said that I am a smart kid and should be properly educated. His niece Mia attends that school, and we're good friends. She always tells me how great it is to be in such a good school, and if a person graduates from it, they won't find it hard to apply to any university they want. I hesitated at first, but I also thought about our lives. I mean, this great opportunity comes once in a lifetime, and it will open new doors for me. Therefore, I accepted the offer, and Mr. X assured me that he'd pay all the expenses. Now that I've told you my secret and how I got into such a great school, let me get back to the locker story.
Oh, back to the locker story. Oh, we took a little break there. Now we're back. Okay.
After I said thanks and left, their leader, Kara, called me.
Kara doesn't feel like a leader name.
Hey, you. What's your name again? Carla? Karen, I replied. She walked towards me, asking in front of everyone, "Well, tell us about your family. What does your father do?" I felt my body shaking. I wasn't ready for such a question. I started sweating and looking around, trying to think of something to say. I was afraid to confess, but at the same time, I was also afraid to get caught telling lies.
Yeah.
When suddenly I heard someone say, "He's a very successful businessman. He's super rich, but he spends his time abroad. And Karen likes to volunteer after school so she doesn't wear fancy clothes all the time."
Oh, is that her friend?
She's very considerate, you know.
That's so nice.
That's what Mia said while walking in our direction. That squad felt irritated by what Mia said and walked away. Mia immediately grabbed my hand and walked me
Wow,
outside.
this is actually like great friendship. Everyone needs a friend like that in their lives. Let's go.
Apologized for lying, but she explained that if she didn't step in, those girls would eat me alive. She explained about the school system and how things work at this great school.
Oh.
She told me about the hierarchical triangle and what would happen if they felt that someone was different and didn't fit in with their social
Oh, they would kill you.
status.
Oh my
I was
God.
terrified. I mean, how could I survive in such a place? I burst into tears and wanted to just quit and get back to my old school.
Actually, that does sound like really difficult. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, as a kid, that would be too much for me to handle, I feel like.
But I thought about my mother. Her words kept repeating themselves in my head. I'm proud of you. You are the best daughter ever. I know you are going to be a great person in the future. These phrases pressured me to death, and I felt that
Now you know if you're a parent how to get your kid to do what you want by just saying nice things and pressuring them.
my mother would be disappointed in me. So I just decided that I had to man up and fight for my future.
Okay.
Mia promised to help me as well. I was so relieved knowing that she'd be there for me. When I walked back to class, everyone was whispering. I knew they were talking about me.
Does anyone else do that? Anytime someone whispers or laughs and you don't know what it is, you just assume it's about you?
Things worse is when Toby approached me and asked in front of everyone to meet him outside. Toby is Kara's brother. He is a very good-looking guy and
He's definitely
super
got a crush on
attractive.
you.
I mean, most of the guys look good at this school, which made me wonder why almost all rich people are good-looking. I followed him.
That's a valid question, isn't it? That's a very valid question. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, yo, people that have money are just genuinely more attractive.
While wondering
It's
why
kinda
he
funny.
asked to talk to me privately. Why me? We stood in the hallway and he came closer to me. I felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest at that moment. He whispered in my ear.
He's either gonna whisper that he thinks she's cute or he's about to bully her. And the way his eyes look, he's about to bully her.
Wow, you're good at doing what people tell you to do. I know your little secret. I've been to Mr. X's house a couple of times, you know, and I saw you there. I froze. I didn't know what to say. I just felt like I was going to pee in my pants any minute, so I just ignored him and rushed to the bathroom before embarrassing myself even more. I closed the
Yeah, I
bathroom
did this at a
door.
wedding recently. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was at a wedding and everyone got up to start dancing with their partner. I didn't bring anyone with me, so I was the only one sitting at the table. Everyone was staring at me, so I got up and went to the bathroom.
Cried there. I didn't want anyone to see me. I didn't want to look like a weak person.
I didn't cry.
Honestly, I was terrified. What does he mean by that? Is he going to take advantage of me now?
Maybe.
What should I do? I called Mia immediately and told her what had happened. She was shocked. She told me that Toby is worse than his sister, and I should try and avoid him as much as possible.
No way. He looks
I
so
went back
nice.
to class feeling horrified.
I felt like-
Yet he wasn't there, which made me feel better. But when he entered the classroom, he kept on looking at me all the time. I was trying very hard to concentrate
He
and
must like
avoid
you,
making
I
any
think.
eye contact.
Or he's creepy.
The next day, Mia loaned me some of her stuff to look better. She thought it would distract people's attention when they realized that I was just a normal student like them. She was such a great person.
She is actually a very nice person. This is great.
Beautiful bag I'd ever seen, some accessories, and wonderful designer
Wow.
shoes. And when I walked to school that day, I felt triumphant.
Wow.
People will finally
Good for
leave
you.
me alone, I thought. But I was wrong.
Oh.
When I entered the classroom, I saw Kara standing there waiting for me. She said, "Hi, new student. Love the new look since you look good enough. And as Mia said, you have a great mansion. Why don't you invite us to your house?"
Sounds like her brother may have spilled the beans. Now they're trying to get her exposed.
It's kind of a new student's ritual. Every new student has to throw a party and invite all of our classmates. What should I do? I felt my heart racing and my body trembling.
I don't know. If I'm in this position, I feel like I would say like my parents don't allow it or something. Like there's got to be some excuse, right? Like not everyone throws a party.
Worse is when I saw Toby standing in the corner smirking. I took a deep breath and finally said,
Don't say yes.
"Yes, I would love to. But meanwhile, we are moving to a bigger house. Once we're done moving, I'll invite all of you." I hoped the conversation would end with this sentence.
Uh-oh.
However, it did not. Kara didn't buy my pathetic lie and said, "It's all right. We can come today after school just to hang out.
Oh, today? You wouldn't even give her a chance to plan? That's brutal.
Throw us another party once you move to your bigger house." And she was stressing the
Oh,
word
no.
bigger. She wants to embarrass me in front of everyone. I was on the edge of collapsing when suddenly Toby said, "Hey sis." And I thought about whether to pass out or run because I knew the moment Toby opened his mouth, my life was over.
This ain't
Yet
good.
surprisingly, he continued and said, "I don't feel like partying at her house today. I was thinking about throwing her a welcome party at our house." He walked towards me,
he
put his
does
arms
like
on
her.
my shoulders, and winked at me. I immediately replied, "Yes, that would be great," while smiling anxiously. Kara's face
Wow.
turned.
So maybe the guy actually likes her. Maybe he's using this to manipulate her. Something's going on with the dude, but he seems kind of nice.
Everyone was shocked. I was shocked as well, yet desperate at the same time. But all I thought about back then was to get myself out of this mess in
Makes
any
sense.
possible way. During the lesson, all I thought about was Toby's reaction. I mean, why did he help me and stop his sister from embarrassing me? I glanced at him a couple of times, and every time I looked, I saw him glancing back at me. I felt a bit uncomfortable.
See, that's weird, because when someone does that and I'm staring at them, like when I was in high school, I would instantly pretend like I'm looking at the clock or the wall and like look away. Like I make eye contact and I'd be like, nope.
He is so cute, and when he winked at me, my heart melted.
Oh.
I snapped back to reality when the teacher knocked on my desk, waking me up from my daydreaming, while telling me to wipe my drooling and pay attention. After class, I told Mia what happened, and she was shocked as well. However, she promised to help me and even suggested we go to the party together in her fancy car.
Wow.
However, she told me that what Toby did was unexpected and confusing.
It is unexpected and confusing, but I think we're about to find out what Toby's up to tonight at the billionaire party, and this doesn't seem like a billionaire house so far.
When Mia and I arrived at the party, I didn't expect what was going to happen that night.
Oh,
I didn't
boy.
know that my life would turn upside down.
Oh, this sounds bad.
When I thought Toby was
Wow,
trying
what if he's actually doing this to expose you?
to help me, I was wrong.
No way.
Their evil genes are way too strong to have kindness in
No
them.
way.
After a while, when almost all the school was there, Kara made an announcement and told everyone that she had a surprise for me.
Oh, this
She
is bad.
invited me to the stage in front of
Oh,
everyone
no.
and called a maid to bring a special drink that was made especially for me. And when the maid
This would
approached
be
me
creepy.
holding the drink, my heart stopped. It was my mom, that evil brat. She hired
Oh,
my mother
no.
to humiliate both of us. Mia was standing among the crowd and looked worried. She
I did not see that coming. I thought, how did they get your mom? Does she work at multiple maids?
was surprised to see my mother there as well. I stared at my mother and I knew that she felt something was wrong.
Oh,
so
God.
she acted as if she didn't know me. I looked at Kara and saw the evilish look she had
Oh,
on
God.
her face. I knew that she planned for more. Kara walked towards my mother and poured her drink
Oh,
on her as if it was an
no.
accident. That's when I couldn't take it anymore and pushed Kara away. I helped my mother clean herself up and said in front
Bro, this is like evil because I think she's gonna expose both in front of the entire school and something's gonna go bad.
This
Oh,
woman
no.
is my mother, and I won't let anyone
She's the one who exposed herself? That's not what I saw coming.
treat her badly. She's a maid and I am proud. She dedicated her entire
Weird.
life to raising me and to giving me the best
Very
life ever.
weird.
Having her as my mother is worth more than all of your fortune. I grabbed her arm and walked outside with her. While heading towards the door, I saw Toby walking in my direction.
Is he evil?
He tried to approach me, but I pushed him away and said, I was stupid when I thought you may be different. Mia followed us and drove us home. My
So
mother
weird.
and I hugged each other and cried all night. She
We don't
kept on
even know that
apologizing,
anybody
but I
knew.
told her that I was embarrassed by what I had pretended to be, rather than being myself. It's not her fault. She shouldn't feel bad. It's their parents' fault. They taught them to value money over humanity.
Okay.
That day made me
But literally, like, nobody knew. As far as I know, nobody showed that they realized that was your mother. I think they were just, like, actually trying to be nice, maybe.
I kept on attending the same school with my thrifty clothes and cheap bag. Weirdly, no one ever mentioned anything since that day.
Really?
And Kara was avoiding me all the time. Mia was the only girl who spoke to me. Though I was neglected,
is
no
kinda
one else
sad.
bothered me anymore, and I managed to focus on my studies. 7 years have passed since that day.
What?
I graduated with excellent grades and got a
7 years just like that? There's nothing? You didn't have any friends in 7 years? That happened and everyone just exiled you?
fully funded scholarship to a respectable
I mean, that's good.
university, and now I have a decent job. I'm proud of what I have accomplished. My job was very good. I applied for a better position at another company.
Okay.
After all, I don't want to be stuck at the same place all my life. When I went to the interview, I almost fainted when I saw Toby there. He was the CEO, and the company belonged to his parents.
What?
After the interview was done, I walked out of the room and brushed the idea of working there
She could have worked now for this dude 7 years later. This is so strange. Okay.
out of my head. I headed to the elevator when
comes
suddenly I felt someone poking me. It was Toby. He said, "Hi, long time no see.
Wow.
How have you been?" I replied with a cold tone, "Fine," and turned around as he shocked me by saying, "I'm sorry." I remained silent.
Wait,
for
is
a
he gonna
moment,
admit that
took
he's
a
the one who
deep breath,
exposed her now?
And turned to his direction, saying, "It took you 7 years to realize you've made a mistake? Well done." But what he said next made me speechless. He
Uh-oh.
confessed that back then, he knew who I was and wanted to protect me from his sister. Though he didn't tell her that I was poor and my mother is a maid, she somehow knew. She had hired someone to spy on me and planned to embarrass me.
So he is a nice guy the whole time and 7 years go by and she didn't even... Wow, that's depressing.
But she did tell
Wow.
Toby because she was surprised when he helped me that day. After the party, they had a huge fight, and
Wow.
he hasn't spoken to her till this day.
Wow.
He also threatened her and anyone else who tried to hurt me at school. He was protecting me secretly the whole
Oh, that's so nice though.
time. I asked him why he hadn't explained that when we were in school. He said, I saw the look on your mother's face, and I felt disappointed in myself and disgraceful.
Oh my
mother?
gosh.
What is that supposed to mean? I asked confusedly. And then he said that one time when he was at Mr. X's house, he met my mother for the first time. She was kind to him and helped.
Bro, this is like a wild ending. Like, this guy is actually like such a nice dude, I feel like. This is for once great characters in a story. I'm here for it.
He asked Mr. X about her, and he told him our story.
Wow.
Ever since that day, each time he came to Mr. X's house, he would go and meet my mother. He loved her company, and she treated him with love and respect. He added, she was the only one who treated me as a person, not a $100 bill. He also kept watching me from a distance.
That's kind of creepy,
he
but
said
okay.
I looked like a younger version of her, and he felt
So he's in love with your mom.
butterflies in his stomach
Okay.
every time he saw me.
And you.
I was shocked to
He's in love with you and your mom.
hear his story. He apologized one more time and said, I've lost you once, and I don't want to lose you again. So can you please give me another chance to show you the real me? I grinned shyly and blushed. I replied with a cute voice, sure.
Sure.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, honestly, it's a good story, but the truth is, I believe this is possible. I believe someone out there lived this moment in life. This could be a real story. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to look at that screen piece.